Talking to authority figures when you have been traumatized by an authority figure is difficult. I'm speaking today specifically about doctors because I've spent a lot of time in doctors' offices. So how do you deal with these conversations when you get really intimidated and you've been traumatized? Let's talk about that today. Hey guys, I am Jo and welcome back to Trauma Talk. Like I said, I have spent countless hours in doctor's offices over the past few years. I have a brain condition and like neck compression and ankle issues and dizziness, and along with like PTSD and anxiety and depression. And so I have spent a lot of time with doctors, and you would think having a lot of experience and running a mental health channel and talking about it all the time and being in therapy for years that at this point I might be able to actually put things into words, be assertive, tell people where I'm coming from, speak to doctors about the outcome that I'm looking for, and get in there and do it. And I really struggle with that. I know that people from different parts of the world watch this, but in the American medical system it's kind of hard to get what you want. It's hard to get time with doctors, and when that's the case anyways, and doctors are people who are really respected and authority figures, I found that often I would waste appointment time that was really necessary and I really needed help. I needed to discuss an issue, and I would get railroaded or talked over by a doctor because they thought they knew what was going on. And I know what's going on with my body. I know what's happening. I know what I need to say. But then I would just shut down and be like, okay, you know what's best, and then just stop talking because I got scared because I was afraid of that authority figure. And this really did become an issue because I was not getting the treatment I needed. I was not saying the things I needed to say. And it was really having an impact on my physical health. A good example of this is a couple months ago, I was drowning in anxiety. Like I would sit and just be like shaking all the time. I was just like sitting there, and my husband would see this, and I was having panic attacks and just like choking on air all the time. I wanted to go see my doctor and talk about this because I was already in counseling, but I wanted to maybe talk about the medication that I was taking, and was really scared for this appointment because I know that I really struggle to put things into words and be assertive with doctors because they're in a position of power and authority, and I assume that they always know what they're talking about even though it's my body. And my husband suggested that he come with me. And initially I was resistant to that, but then I was finally like, okay, you know what? Yes, you can come with me. And at the point in the appointment where she was like, you know what, that's all the time we have, we actually got to move on to other things or whatever, and we had just started talking about anxiety, and I usually would have been like, okay, I guess I'll make another appointment and sort of like shrink down and disappear. My husband was like, no, we came here to talk about this, we're gonna talk about this, we're happy to wait. And she was like, okay, well then that's fine then. I guess I gotta take care of a couple things. As long as you guys are good on time, I'll be right back with you. And I was like, wow, it was really like that easy. And then I was able to be a little bit more assertive because I felt like someone had my back. And so since then, when I've needed to talk about harder things, I've started bringing people with me. Because if I can discuss what I need to accomplish with them, and they can be there to serve as my additional backbone in case I fail myself, that can be really helpful. And even having them there provides me with more emotional strength to say what I need to say. This one might be a little obvious, but it still helps. Having a list, like a written down list of exactly what I want to talk about and what I want to accomplish, has been helping me as well. And thinking out those questions in advance, literally like writing them down in the notes section of my phone and then bringing that with me to the appointment instead of trying to rely on my memory, because when I get overwhelmed or intimidated, I start shutting down. The trauma part of my brain starts like speaking up more and getting scared and being like, no, this is not a safe situation, and just doesn't allow me to think clearly. So if I have a piece of paper or a note to rely on and be like, no, these are the questions you want to ask, actually ask them, it's been more helpful to me. I don't know if you struggle with talking to doctors or authority figures like I do, but like I said, it started being an issue in treatment because I was not getting the help or treatment that I actually needed. And so I've been reaching out to other resources, and I'm curious if you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas or resources, or if you struggle with this too, because this is something that's still an evolving thing for me. Another thing that I found helpful was letting doctors know where I am and letting them know that I do struggle with things. Like for instance, in one of my last surgeries, I let my anesthesiologist know before surgery, hey, by the way, I have PTSD And when I wake up from surgery sometimes, I wake up in a full-blown panic. I don't know where I am. I don't know who you are. And like I want to rip all my IVs out and I'm a sobbing mess because that's happened before. And it's a terrifying experience for me. And it's a terrifying experience for them too because I can't even like, I literally can't even like breathe or put things into words as I'm waking up from surgery because I feel so out of control. But if I tell them that beforehand, first of all, it empowers me and makes me feel more comfortable. And second of all, it allows them to be able to treat me a little bit better. And even though I might get choked up telling them that, it still helps. And it helps me put things into words, and it helps me become more comfortable with letting people know where I am, what I need, where I'm coming from, and improve my communication about where I am and what I'm dealing with. Those are some things that help me. What help you? Where are you with this? I would love to know. Hit subscribe and then leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I am Jo Beckwith and this is Trauma Talk. I look forward to hearing what you have to say and I will talk to you soon. Please take care of yourselves. Until then, bye guys.